Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Hoops Empire. In today's video, we're going to be deep diving into the short yet action-packed offseason the Boston Celtics have had to this point. Before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 2,000 subs. And make sure to follow my socials in the description. So let's start with a little recap. After a tumultuous beginning to the 2021-22 season, the Boston Celtics had one of the greatest in-season turnarounds the league has ever seen, being below 500 and the 11th seed at a point, over 40 games into the season, all the way to being the second seed at the regular season's end and coming just 2 wins short of that elusive Manor 18. But as we should have known with now second-year president of basketball operations Brad Stevens, complacency is not something we should begin to expect. Within less than 1 month post-finals, the Celtics have 2 new rotational players, and not just your run-of-the-mill vet minimums. Pretty much out of the blue, although long rumored, the Celtics acquired former Rookie of the Year Malcolm Brogdon in a trade few could have expected. The Celtics sent out Daniel Tice, Aaron Nesmith, bench superstar Malik Fitz, Juwan Morgan, Nick Stauskas, and a 2023 first-round pick. Let me ask, what do all of these players have in common? The answer is that not a single one of them consistently cracked the Celtics' rotation, especially in the playoffs. And in exchange for that heap of non-rotational players, the Celtics acquired a guy who has averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, with exceptional defense over the last 2 seasons. This is the type of trade you make in NBA 2K, not the real NBA. This is the type of stuff that you see people throw in the trade machine as a joke to make the worst possible trade with the salaries still matching. But Brad pulled it off. However, this is not to say that the trade comes with no risks on the player front. Brogdon isn't exactly what you describe as an Iron Man, so to speak, only having played a total of 92 games over the last 2 seasons, with a multitude of injuries. However, at the price they got him for, it's a risk the Celtics would be more than willing to take. If you have him suited up on any given night, you're one of the deepest teams in the league. If not, you're the same squad that made the NBA Finals the year prior. It should not go without mention that the Celtics still have every single rotational player from their latest playoff run, the same team that just got them to the finals. Projecting that the Celtics keep the starting lineup the same, as well as corroborating reports that Brogdon will be the Celtics' 6th man, Boston now has 2 guys off the bench that could be their very own serviceable starting backcourt. Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White would actually probably be one of the better backcourts, and the Celtics have both of them coming off the bench. That's how deep this team is. So, in conclusion, even factoring in injury risk, the Celtics get nothing short of an A+ for the Brogdon trade. Next up is their latest free agent signing, Danilo Gallinari. Gallo has been a player that has been talked about in Celtics communities for a long time now, whether that be wanting him as a member of the team, or the fact that he is near the top of the infamous Celtics killers list. This past regular season, the Celtics were their 16th in catch-and-shoot three-point percentage, despite being top 10 in catch-and-shoot attempts per game. Gallo will help fix that. He himself took over 3.5 catch-and-shoot threes per game this past season, and hit them at a 42% clip. That's 84th percentile for players taking at least 3.5 shots of that nature per game. He has always been a solid shooter, and will likely continue to be with the spacing the Celtics have. However, there are some concerns about Gallo that shouldn't go unmentioned as well. For starters, he is getting older, and is slower now than he ever has been before. He's never been known for his defensive prowess, and is likely one of the worst rotational defenders the league has to offer at this point. But thinking the Celtics are only going to have guys that play both sides of the ball at a high level was a fallacy that was destined to end at a certain point. Chances are, when he's on the court, there will likely be 4 other great, versatile defenders sharing the floor with him. With the Celtics' switch-heavy defensive scheme, they will likely be able to hide Gallinari in a sense. However, come playoff time, this could spell trouble. It is hard for me to imagine, as the playoffs progress, that Gallo will be seeing the floor all that much. Some will say that spending the taxpayer's mid-level exception for a guy that won't be in your playoff rotation is a mistake. However, I wouldn't put much thought into that. The Celtics would be more than fine having the same playoff rotation they had last year, plus Malcolm Brogdon. In the end, factoring in both his shooting ability, but also his lack of defensive ability and therefore lack of playability in high-stakes playoff situations, the Gallo addition deserves a good, but not great grade, a B. It is too early to talk about the Celtics' new rookie, J.D. Davidson, and what he can add, or any of the other guys they decide to add to the squad from the Summer League. So we will delve into that in another video. However, what I do want to grade is something a bit more out of the box: the willingness to part with first-round picks that we have seen from Brad Stevens. It became sort of a meme that former GM Danny Ainge loved his draft picks, and to be fair, he made some great choices. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, All-Defensive Teamer Robert Williams, and of course the two pillars Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. However, at a point, deals that could have made the team better for the now were getting nixed because of this attachment to first-round picks. Brad Stevens clearly disagreed from the sidelines and showed it when he was given Ainge's job. Stevens, in under 2 years in his current role, has traded 4 first-round picks already. In nearly 2 decades as GM, how many did Ainge trade? 3. None since the trade for Garnett to complete the Big Three, unless you count pick swapping the first and third pick with the Sixers to later select Jason Tatum. At a certain point, when they can get you actual solid rotation pieces, it's worth giving up a first-rounder. Do you think Danny Ainge would have sent a first-round pick to OKC just to offload Kemba Walker and bring in Al Horford? Probably not. But that ended up being one of the better moves the Celtics have made in a while. He traded 2 firsts along with Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford to get Derek White. Is it an overpay? Sure. Do you think Brad cares now that he has the guy he wanted? No. That's the difference between Ainge and Stevens. The pride in winning trades. After the Celtics traded Pierce and KG for all those picks that gave them the future they have today, it clearly flipped some sort of switch for Ainge. That he told himself he'd never make another trade unless he was the clear winner of it, regardless if it made his team better or not. Stevens knows what he wants, and a late first-round pick being in the crossfire of it is not going to stop him. So, in conclusion, this front office mindset change deserves higher than a perfect grade. It will be a main contributing factor in winning a championship if that does happen. A++ for this one. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully this offseason only gets better from here. I guess we'll have to see. Again, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video if you enjoyed. But most importantly, have a good one.